Now, my second question, is time essential? Is time essential? What if you perform the contract late? What if you deliver the payment late? What happens to the contract in such situations? Let's see. First, we look at the case where time is the essence of contract. Time is the essence of contract means where there is an agreement between the parties that the particular contract has to be performed by the parties within that specific time, and then they expressly communicate with each other that time is very important. You know, you are into business of exporting things and I am your supplier. So you come to me saying you want to supply, you want to export some goods. I agree to supply you the goods. So we set a date of delivery because on that date your ship will be leaving the port of Bombay. So you want to export the goods in that ship. So you give me the date when the ship is leaving. I say, okay, I'll supply the goods. You just load them into the ship and you export the goods. And now I deliver the goods after the ship has left. What will you do now? Will you accept the goods? Or you have the right to reject the goods, that is, cancel the contract? You obviously have the right to cancel the contract. You can always reject the goods because you had beforehand communicated that you wanted to export the goods and you had given me the time of departure of the ship in which the goods were to be exported. So it was expressly communicated to me. I knew why the contract is being made. I also knew that time in this contract, the time of delivery is very important. If I don't deliver at time, that ship possibly might leave, and then there is no use of this contract if it leaves. So even after knowing this, I delivered the goods late. So whose fault is it? This is my fault. So since this is my fault, you get the right to cancel the contract. You not only get the right to cancel the contract, you also get the right to claim damages from me. So when you get the right to cancel the contract, it is called as voidable contract, because it is voidable contract is a contract which is enforceable by one party. So that party has the option. Okay, so if the contract is not performed on time, where time is very important, if the contract is not performed on time, then the contract becomes voidable at the option of the promisee. Promisee is the person here who was expecting the performance, and promiser is the person who was performing the contract, who was honoring his promise. So when time is very important and the performance is not made in time, the contract becomes voidable. Now, if new time is agreed by the parties, let's say in this very contract, I call you up saying, boss, I'll not be able to supply the goods in the time that you have given me. So I'll not be able to perform the contract. I am sorry. So you give me another time. You tell me that there's one more ship that will be leaving Bombay tomorrow. So you deliver the goods to me by tomorrow. And I say, okay, by tomorrow the goods would be ready, and before the ship leaves, I'll get them, supplied till the port. So now what we have done here is we have agreed for the new time. Now again, I do not perform the contract on time. What happens then? Now you'll again get the right to cancel the contract. You can cancel the contract. That is, the contract becomes voidable at your option. So now please understand that where time is very important in the contract, if the contract is not performed on time, the promisee gets the right to terminate the contract, to rescind the contract, to cancel the contract. However, if a new time is agreed between them and the contract is completed within that time, it's perfectly fine. Since the new time is agreed, the contract now does not become voidable. It has been renewed. Both parties are agreeing to it, so it has been renewed. But however, let's say, you know, the contract is not performed or there's a delay in performance even after allowing new time or some extra time. So now the party again gets this right to cancel the contract. So the contract again becomes voidable. Okay. What if time is not essential for the contract? It doesn't matter. There are many contracts wherein time is not essential. You go to an electronic shop to buy a washing machine. The guy there tells you, he'll supply, he will deliver the washing machine to your house by tomorrow. And let's say if he does not turn up by tomorrow, if he brings the washing machine day after tomorrow, what will happen? Now in this case, time is not essential. It does not matter if washing machine comes to your house a day later. So it is not that big a matter. What will happen in this case? The promisee will not get the right to cancel the contract. However, if there's any loss which the promisee has borne because of the delay, he'll get the right to get the compensation of the loss. So, where time is not essential and the contract is not performed on time, the contract remains valid, it does not become void. However, the promisee can claim compensation. Now, compensation is only available where there is a loss. So, if the promisee has borne any loss because of the delay in performance, he can claim compensation. Now, if there is no loss which has occurred to the promisee, he will not be able to claim compensation. The contract remains valid. The law says since the time wasn't essential here, the delay here does not matter. So, the contract remains valid. And when the promiser delivers the goods after the delay, after the time which was agreed, at a delayed time, the promisee cannot reject the acceptance of good. He'll have to accept the goods because the contract has remained valid. It has not become void at his option, like in the earlier case. There the time was essential, so he had the right to reject the performance, to reject the goods, to treat the contract as voidable. Here the time is not essential, so delay does not matter, and thus the contract does not become voidable, it remains valid. Okay. But in this case, I told you that the contract remains valid. Let's assume even after reasonable delay, even after reasonable time, the contract is not performed. Now, in that case, the contract will become voidable at the option of the promisee. Now, how long do you expect the promisee to wait? I understand that The time is not essential in the contract. But how long do you expect the promisee to wait? You ordered a washing machine from a shop. He told you that he'll deliver the washing machine tomorrow. And tomorrow, if he doesn't deliver the washing machine, you do not cancel the contract. You wait for one more day. You wait for 2 more days. You probably might wait for a week. But what about the contract? Even after a week, if he does not deliver the washing machine to you, what do you do in that case? Will you keep on waiting till eternity? No, you won't. At some point in time, you will say, Boss, I'm done with the contract. I do not want to go ahead with the contract. I do not want your goods. I am canceling your contract because you are not supplying the goods in the reasonable time. I understand that time is not essential here, but you have to honor the contract, perform the contract within the reasonable time. And the time of the contract has elapsed. Even after that, I have given you some reasonable time, yet you are not performing the contract. I will cancel the contract. This is what you will say. So, you get the right to cancel the contract even when the time is not essential in a contract, but after a reasonable time, if the contract is not performed, only then. Okay. Now, how do you know if time is of importance or no? If time is essential for the contract or no? You will be able to understand from the terms of the contract. You'll be able to understand from the terms. Now, if the terms are speaking the language that time is very important, then time is of essence, and if it is not performed within reasonable time, the promisee gets the right to avoid the contract. The contract becomes voidable. He also gets the right to renew the contract, to give some extra time to the promiser. And even after extra time, the promiser does not perform the contract, he can again cancel the contract. But where the time is not essential, he cannot cancel the contract remains valid, he can only claim compensation. Okay, so even after some reasonable time the contract is not performed, then he gets the right to cancel the contract. Now, if the time is of essence or no, how do we know? It is from the terms and conditions of the contract. The contract will tell us. There's one more thing I'll like to tell you in this. Generally, there are two aspects in a contract. The first aspect is delivering the goods, supplying the goods, and the second aspect is the payment, the receipt of payment. You deliver the goods, you supply the goods, and then you receive the payment. Of the two, which do you think is more important with regards to time? Which should be done within the time out of the two? Which is more important to be done within the time? It's delivery. So something which is connected with delivery automatically becomes important with regards to time, and something which is related with payment automatically loses its importance with regards to time. Now, I gave you the example where the ship was to leave, I was to deliver the goods. Now, when it is connected with delivery, it suddenly becomes very important. The time becomes very important. However, where the payment is concerned, you get the payment today, you get the payment tomorrow, or you get the payment after a week. Law does not attach that much importance to the payment. However, if there's a loss that you are incurring because of delay in payment, you can always claim compensation of that. So something which is connected with delivery, it becomes important with regards to time. Something which is connected to payment, it loses some of its importance with regards to time, unless expressly, unless expressed otherwise. If the parties say that payment is very important, I want payment within 10 days. If you do not give me payment within 10 days, I'll consider the contract as cancelled. Now, here, the party has himself told that the timing of the payment is very important. And here, if the payment is not made on time, he gets the right to cancel the contract. So, a contract is governed by its terms and conditions. However, if nothing is mentioned as regards to time, delivery will be more important than payment.